Well, it's shoot the shit time. We missed you last week. Well, you missed me last week because I was in Florida. Hey, welcome to Shoot the Shit with DSP. I hope you are having a phenomenal Friday already. We're going to get started here in just a little bit. We're going to get the welcomes going. We've got people joining in my YouTube channel. We got people joining in my two private Facebook groups. And we've got the good mornings flowing already. We got Jose's Chicago Talk Authority. Good morning. It's wonderful to have you. I'm glad you're here. We have Good Morning DSP. I'm ready for knowledge bombs. Okay. Now, this is somebody I obviously know, but it says Facebook user, which means Facebook disconnected your name. So do me a favor. My team is dropping a link in that says chat.restream.io/FB. Notice one of my team members, it wiped their name out. It wiped out my other team member's name. So it looks like everybody needs to, if you're in Facebook, you need to click on that link that was dropped in the chat that gives Facebook permission for me to see your name. Again, I've got a good morning. Hey, it's Lindsay. What's up, Lindsay? Keys in the house. Hey, click on that link, man. That way, when you ask me a question, I know who the heck I'm talking to. But we'll get that done for sure. Man, we got a lot of you joining this early Friday morning. It is exciting to have you. Got another good morning. So I'm going to put this out there again. It looks like Facebook has just wiped out all the connections anybody has ever made to Restream. So my team has dropped in a link in the private Facebook groups for Facebook. Click on that link, chat.restream.io/FB. Give Facebook permission for me to see your name. I am literally getting nothing but good mornings from everybody. How about now? No. A good morning. Nope. I've got another DSP. I'm guessing that's Matt Plapp just from that, but I don't know. But look, my YouTube people who are logged in their Google accounts, Waleed is there. Okay, which POS software is suitable for fast food restaurants? Man, I'm going to table that one. I'm very much a full service guy, and I'll answer questions at the end. So hold that question towards the end here. We've got Cuddy says, good morning. Good morning to you. We have, it's Jenny. I'm having trouble getting permissions. I don't know what is going on. It looks like Facebook is pissed off. Schoenberger. It's Schoenberger. Same personalities, right? Very energetic, outgoing, ready to go. We've got a good morning from Dee. What's going on? Good morning to you. And now, no. So I don't know. We'll have to work on that technical difficulty. So do me a favor as we go through and you chat, throw in your name for me. I'll remind you at the end. We'll get started here. Won't let me click the link. Man, I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to apologize for technology issues. We'll just figure it out later. But how about we get started, shall we? Let me get something going here. What is not happening here for me? I've got something I'm trying to do on my side. There we go. Welcome to Shoot the Shit with DSP. SDSP happens every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, live on Facebook and YouTube, travel schedule permitting. We're going to invest about 30 minutes out of your day to get pumped about the upcoming weekend, get excited about crushing your goals, and finding the motivation to be the best you possible. Plus, I'll answer your burning questions. I'm David Scott Peters, creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula and your coach. And again, I'm going to apologize that we're having a little technical difficulties that Facebook is not allowing me to see your names. But with that said, today we're diving into game-changing strategies or strategy, singular, that is essential for every restaurant's financial health. We're going to unravel the secrets of mastering your numbers with a focus on one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. It's the weekly prime cost budget variance report. So again, if you're joining me, it seems that Facebook has wiped out the connection between me seeing your name. So when you type in a comment, give me your name in there. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, log into your YouTube account and we're going to be good to go from there. Whether you're a seasoned restaurant owner or just starting out, understanding and utilizing a weekly budget variance report can be the difference between surviving or truly thriving in this dynamic industry. Let's get ready to transform your restaurant's financial approach, ensuring you achieve the freedom and success you deserve by understanding and implementing a weekly prime cost budget variance report. So to do this, we've got to start off and we've got to understand what prime cost is. Now, if you're on my YouTube channel, you should know I've got many videos. Go to David Scott Peters on YouTube, and you're going to find a myriad of videos from budgeting to prime cost. But prime cost is the one number you must know to have any chance to make money. To go over it briefly here, prime cost is, to an old timer like me, something we called controllable expense. Controllable expenses are in the control of management on a day-to-day basis. How we hire, fire, train, utilize our people, purchase product, utilize that product. In essence, it's my manager's report card. Literally, what can I control? Because a manager can't control that you drive a Ferrari out of the business. They can't control that you are upside down in your occupancy costs and paid way too much for that lease. They can't control that you decided to do the crack cocaine of restaurant marketing and run a Groupon and drive your business into the ground. They can't control those kinds of expenses. What they can control is people and product on a day-to-day basis. So prime cost is made up of your total cost of goods sold, plus your total labor costs, including taxes, benefits, and insurance. Now, cost of goods sold, just so we're clear, is the cost of goods sold. It is not purchases divided by sales. This requires you take an inventory, beginning inventory plus purchases minus N gives us use. Use, what leaves the shelves divided by sales, that's your food cost or food cost percentage. So those of you who take inventories, fantastic. You know your food cost. Those of you who do not, do know that you cannot use purchases with one exception. You're going to use a year long. Look at your year's purchases divided by your yields, your year's sales. And to make sure, when I say sales, I mean food sales, meaning gross sales, not net sales. What's the difference? Gross sales is the ring of the register before discounts, not including sales tax. So if I ring up a $10 burger and I comp $5, $10 is gross sales. Again, sales tax is not a sale. It's the pleasure the government gives us of holding their money and penalizing us like they're the frickin' mob if we don't pay them back, right? Net sales is the ring of the register, $5 comp, $10 burger, $5 comp, $5 is net sales. We've got to use gross sales. The reason being is I asked my chef to put out a $10 burger, use $3 in product. Use divided by sales, well, that's a 30% food cost. If you run a buy one, get one free and reduce that by $5 and you use, right? So now I have $5 as my sales. I still used $3 in product. I didn't use half the product. I take a 30% cost of goods sold into 60. That doesn't measure my efficiencies. I'm still going to have the same profit and loss on my P&L, whether I use gross sales or net sales. But if you use net sales, you're inflating your numbers. You're making things look worse than they are. You're also not being fair to your managers. The other part is this: where should my prime cost be? Well, I've been doing this since 2003. I'm finishing up my 21st year of coaching independent restaurant owners and managers just like you. And during that time, when I started off, the industry average, the experts would say you needed to run a 65% prime cost for a full service restaurant, 60% for a quick serve. Well, things have changed. Things have gotten harder. And I don't need to tell you what has happened over the last 2 decades, let alone the last 4 years. Well, those numbers don't work. For me, if you do $850,000 in gross sales or more, your new prime cost target is 55%, not 65. 55. And if you think it's not possible, then you should log off this live stream right now because it's not possible for you. I have literally thousands of restaurants that I have worked with over the last 20 years that hit and exceed those numbers without giving up guest satisfaction, without cutting product quality, without going against your core values. Running smart. And one of the reasons why they run so smart is they have budgets and they have their KPIs and they measure on a weekly basis. And that's what we're talking about here. So here's the deal. I mentioned budgets. Well, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know the 2 most important systems I say everybody should have are budgets and recipe costing cards. And then I joke around, I say, what are the 2 systems most restaurants never have? Budgets and recipe cost cards. Why? Because they're too hard. Boo frickin' who? In today's day and age, you must know your numbers. You must have a plan for success that you decided what systems you're going to put in place, how quickly you're going to put them in place, what you're going to achieve as results. Because it's one thing to create a budget and say, this is what I want to do. It's another thing to have the systems in place to train your managers on how to achieve those numbers. It's another thing to measure those. But more importantly, We're going to lead our business using our numbers and our gut and core values. To truly become the leader your restaurant needs, you must have the financial strength to budget, to know where you're going, where you've been, but where you're going. You need to be able to forecast your sales within reason. Doesn't matter if it's tea leaves, or whether it's you're using my sales forecast generator spreadsheet, or whether you're using an AI tool like 5out.io. Does not matter. You must forecast, and you must not only forecast what your sales are going to be, but what your target food costs, pour cost, bottled beer, draft beer, wine, liquor, merchandise, labor cost, by position. And then you have control of your business. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a visual representation of a weekly budget variance report that I have on the screen here right now. Now, what you're going to notice here is that we start off, we've got our beginning date, our ending date, and then we've got here these cells right here budgeted. Well, where did those budget targets come from? Well, I've got to have my weekly sales forecast by category, which is pretty easy to do when you think about it. You've figured out or come up with a plan that you can forecast your sales, whether you're using a tool like I provide, whether you're using software, whether you're even using, say, 7Shifts that has an AI forecasting tool as well. The fact of the matter is, you can come up with your number, but then we come down here and we know our sales mix, right? You know your sales mix. You could come up with a big number and multiply it by 54% food sales. In your case, it might be 85%, 92%, does not matter. And we can back into these numbers. But in this case, we've typed in what those sales are. We've already done that in a different tool. Then we come down, we have our, again, budgeted, we have our budgeted targets. So where did these come from? Where did I come up with a target of 24% food cost? My budget. You could have started with 28% 3 months ago, but you implemented the key item tracker, waste tracker, the restaurant checkbook guardian, reduce your food cost by 3 points. You worked on recipe cost cards, got into Margin Edge, started working on those, and then are ready to get on a menu profitability monitor call with me, an MPM call, where we re-engineer your menu, and we put a menu out that's got a 22% ideal food cost, but we're shooting for a 24 actual. And so all of a sudden here, these are the targets that come from that budget. This is what I'm going to do or what I'm planning on doing, no matter what my plan is and how I'm going to get there. Then we come down, we've got our payroll expenses and we've got all of our positions. What's missing from this one is whether I had salaried managers. I picked a very small restaurant that may not have those salaried managers in there at this point in time. Actually, I'm sorry, put them down below. What am I thinking? With that said, at 10% of sales, I'm shooting for line cooks, 2% for dishwasher, 1.5% for prep cooks, and so on. Whether these are good numbers does not matter in the sense that these are the good numbers for you. These are the targets you set for your budget. We can certainly talk about where these targets could or should be, but I will tell you 99.99% of the time, I cannot help you the way I want to help you if we do not create a budget. If I don't know the ins and outs of your business, if I don't know where you've been and where you want to get to and how we're going to get there, how can any coach, consultant, or anyone help you? Budgets are critical to your success. Well, we have that budget, but now, wait a second. Why are we looking at this report weekly instead of monthly? Your monthly budget variance. We'll talk about that. Now I've got my salaried managers, got a brain fart, put them down here. I've got my estimated taxes. And in this case, my prime cost, I should have $38,000 in prime cost, run a 73%. What do I want you at? What do I want you at? 55 or under, 60 or under if you're under $850,000 in sales. But I will tell you, dollars to donuts. Most people that I meet and I talk to on a weekly basis, when they come into my program, don't have budgets, don't have recipe cost cards, don't take inventory, don't track labor on a daily basis. And the average restaurant that I work with in the beginning usually has about a 78% prime cost. But again, it doesn't matter what the number is. Why? This is what's in your budget. This is what you determined. Maybe you're on the path to making change in your business, and this is where you are. This is not about setting your budget. This is about measuring where you put your KPIs, key performance indicators. Then we come in here and we put in our actuals, We type in what our actual sales were. We get that from, in my case, the DSR tracker. You get it from your QuickBooks, get it from your POS system. You've got this data readily available. And you just type in what your gross sales are and so on. Now, I'm going to show you something very quick here. I'm going to delete these numbers for just 1 second. And I want you to come down here and look at this cell B29 food cost. Well, in any spreadsheet I do, if it's gray, it's got a formula in there, which is all the way up here at the top. Anything white, you type in a number. Well, I typed in my target cost of goods sold, 24%. That is 24% of $29,700. Multiply 29,700 by 24%, and you get $7,128. What I'm going to show you is when I reverse and I add back in my sales, notice that this food cost number changed. Let me do it again so you can pay attention. $7,128. And now my sales were $28,000, not $29,000. I missed my forecast. The system now ignores all budgeted sales and says, okay, dollars to donuts, apples to apples comparison. If I was supposed to be running a 24% cost of goods sold, what should it have been based on the sales that actually came in? All the variable expenses switch as soon as I type in my actuals, switch over to there, and now this number, instead of $200, it's $6,700. That allows me to say, what should I have used and what did I actually use? Now, we come down here to right next to it in the actuals, we put in our actual cost of goods sold. This is not by percentage, this is the use. And again, to get there is beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending gives us use. What left the shelves for the money that came in the door? Well, in this case, $7,500. Because I have adjusted my target cost of goods sold from budgeted to actual, it says I should have used $6,700. I actually used $7,500. In this case, my variance, column F, I'm $743 to the negative. We have misused waste, theft, spoilage, overportioning, whatever you want to call it, all waste, theft, spoilage. When we look at all this stuff, there's a problem. What's the problem? We're not sure. That's the beautiful part about this report. It gets you looking. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look over here in my waste sheet. I see that I have $350 in waste sheet. And it's a proactive tool. Every night when somebody burns a steak or drops a pizza, or we over purchased, say, some tomatoes and they went rotten and I threw them away, it all goes on here. Because on the waste sheet, when I see what mistake I made that day, I know what I should be fixing that we don't make that mistake tomorrow. Reduce my ordering, the ordering size, or retrain somebody, reposition, even fire someone. You will never see $743. When we look at this and we say $743 is my variance, you will never see $743 in your waste sheet. If you do, that doesn't make sense to me. You're going to catch, but you better see a whole bunch of it, maybe half of it or more. If you don't, they're not using the system. They're not fixing the problem. You're making the same dumbass mistake week after week after week after week, just blowing money in controllable expenses, in control of management. My managers are not using the systems I put in place to make the money we deserve, to give the guests the best experience and consistency. Because again, let's say what's part of that $350? It could be overportioning Lurch on the line with a huge hand. Instead of 5 ounces of French fries, he's putting on 8 ounces every single time because you don't have portion controls. That which we measure improves. We find the problem, we fix the problem. So now I come down here and I look at it and I say, okay, I'm $2 under budget, 114 over. Basically, I'm finding that in this case, I'm $995 over budget in 1 week. That's cost of goods sold. How many weeks are there? 52 of them. This little, I'm only off $1,000, is a $50,000 mistake if it goes unchecked, if it goes unmeasured, if you don't pay attention and make a change. Now I go down to labor. I do the same process. $200 over budget, under, over. I'm $351 over budget in labor. I come down, I do my wages, my taxes and estimate, and I find my variances. But when I look at these things and I say $300 plus $900, right? All of a sudden we're almost $1,500 over budget. Again, 52 weeks. So why do I want to do this? Am I looking at this report to poke you in the eye and say, look what a bad job you did? No. And in fact, who provides this report? Your general manager. Your managers fill in their numbers, not from the Magic Fairy accountant, not from your other software. They grab the numbers, put them in here. They come to the manager meeting and they explain their departments and their numbers. For instance, if I come down here and my chef food cost is off $743, forget about that. It's 2 points, 2.64% off. Does not matter. Depends on what your volumes are. I can come to the table and go, hey, I'm $743 off in food costs. Part of that challenge was we were about $1,500 down in sales. That probably affected us a little bit, but really doesn't affect cost of goods sold as much as the opportunity for us to make money and in labor. But I wanted to bring it up. But I'm going to look at that 743. You'll notice on the waste sheet, we have $350 in product that we've wasted. I want to let you know that we had a reach and cooler go down this week, and we lost about $150 in product. I've since called the refrigeration repair company, got it fixed, put us on a quarterly maintenance agreement, so it shouldn't happen again. But just in case, I've implemented a time temp checklist for checking the temperatures every 2 hours. Now, I did look at the key item tracker. It does not look like we have theft, but I did notice again on the waste sheet that, well, Bob, who's the new cook, has been burning burgers and just had a really shitty shift. I've repositioned him. He's going through training again before he gets on the grill independently. And I did notice that we have been over-ordering salmon. We discovered that we threw away a bunch of salmon, and I've tightened up our ordering par levels, paying attention to our POS system and our use. Well, holy shit, right? Already you are thrilled because the manager came to the meeting, the manager meeting, not you telling them what their food cost is, them telling you. Not you saying, hey, what the hell's the problem? They told you I found the problem. I fixed the problem. And oh, by the way, I'm still $743 off. Now the manager can look at you and say, in order to make up the $743 that we've lost, this is my plan to make it back. I plan on putting out my prime rib special dinner on Saturday, the next 3 Saturdays, which is a $50 ring. The way I've priced it and adding the sides to it, it's going to come in at about a 20% food cost. It's going to be a great thing. I'm also going to implement these lunch specials that are pasta to drive food costs down. See, what he or she didn't say is I'm going to cheat the guests. I'm going to reduce portion sizes and buy shitty product, and I'm going to attack it that way. No, they proactively come up with a plan to make up that $743. You want to know the real power of this? Is that which you measure improves. Well, I've got measurements, KPIs, key performance indicators, things to go for. I've got my actual numbers. All I needed was my POS system to get any of these numbers. I didn't need payroll. I didn't need some fancy accounting software. I could grab these numbers right from the POS system. But when I see I'm off, I can create a proactive plan to correct my course. By putting a weekly prime cost budget variance report in place, you're giving your managers the opportunity to proactively manage the business, to correct your course, and they should never miss a bonus. If I'm doing a bonus on a quarterly basis, and I'm measuring on a weekly basis, and I'm a little bit off, I've got time, weeks to fix things. I don't have to make a big Band-Aid rip off and fix things. I could have looked at that food cost issue and said, you know what I need to do? We need to re-engineer the menu. I've got to get something new on the table because I looked at our product mix and did a menu profitability monitor, found our ideal food cost was coming in at a 24%. We will never hit a 24%. In fact, a typical restaurant runs 7 to 9 points above ideal. A rock star kitchen manager chef is 1.5 to 2 points above ideal. We're rock stars. We're 2 points above ideal. So I can only hit a 26%. See, they come to the table. This report makes you look for the problem. Solve the problem. Stop making the same mistake and stop making that problem last forever and killing your business. This simple report that takes 15 minutes, no matter what your KPIs are, what your budget says, can put you on a path to taking control of your restaurant. That concludes my portion of Shoot the Shit with DSP. Now it's time for your questions. Let's see here. We have a whole bunch of people who are trying to get this to work. All right. Jamie's here. Good to have you, Jamie. We've got, let's see who are you. By the way, those of you who are joining in Facebook, the link that we're using to have Facebook and Restream give me your name isn't working, so you got to put your name in there. Melissa's in the house. What's going on, Miss Rickman? I'm so sorry. I know it is not working. We've got a how about now? Nope. I've got Steve Eller. Good morning, Mr. Eller. It's good to have you on here. We've got a good morning, David Scott Peters. Whoever that is, I hope you'll give me your name later. Jonathan Cowan's in the house. I didn't have any of that stuff when I started with you. Thank you. No, thank you. I can't gush enough about you and Brianna, what you guys have done over the last, has it been 3 years we've been working together again? Amazing. Jose says, hey, David, for fast casual restaurant, no server, no liquor, do you separate both front of house and back of house labor costs? That is an excellent question. And the answer is maybe. You ask me that question 99.99% of the time on that budget variance. Do I want every position? Yes, I do. 99.99% of the time, I'm going to tell you to split it up. The asterisk on that is I have worked with members that everybody is so cross-trained and so picking up the same stuff that a front of house, back of house is the same person, and they're often working all the positions during a shift, which makes it very difficult for me to control. But it is the way the restaurant operates. So you've got to ask yourself, Jose, is do I sign somebody to the register? Do I sign somebody to line serving? And do I sign somebody back on the grill? If you do, and they come in and they're scheduled for that, I want them in their positions, even if it's the same pay rate. Then I can, when I look at the budget variance, when I look at my budget, when I look at all my tools, I can see if I'm overusing it, labor in what position. But if everybody's really a utility person, then I've seen that we've done one position to two positions, front house, back house. Hopefully that answers your question. It's not a great answer, but it is the truth. Shaheen is in the house. Good morning, Shaheen. Thank you for being here, my friend. For those of us not good at creating documents, is yours available? All right. Question is mine available? You may not like my answer. The answer is yes, it's available to my members. You come into my member site, you come down here. I can tell you it's in the Restaurant Prosperity Coaching video library. It is going to be in 13 right here, which is Prime Cost Budget Variance and Manager Bonus Program. And there's a video on how to use it, and then if I go back, we've got the actual spreadsheet that you can copy the link and download. So the answer is yes, it is available, but it is only available to my members. I give away a ton of my stuff, my seminars, at some presentations I give and so on, but that is member exclusive. So hopefully that answers your question. Again, said you might not like the answer. Attila, what's going on? Good to have you, my friend. I appreciate everybody throwing their names in there so I can see you. Kim's on back, and she is in YouTube, so I can see her name. Good morning. Missed the start. What software were you using to get that report? I was not using a software. I was using my spreadsheet. So that is my own creation on a Google Doc. Easy enough to create in Excel or a Google Doc on your own. Mark McShaffrey, what's up? Hello to you, my friend. I look forward to seeing you when you come into town, and or whichever comes first, the Mastery Plus meeting. Matt's in the house. What's up, Matt? Starting a new service catering to cabins we rent. We have menu items. How do I set the prices for the menu items? Wow. That is a big, big question, Matt. Probably too large for me to cover now. We're already running long, and I'm going to answer everybody's questions best I can. So number one, I want you to go on my site, or my YouTube channel, David Scott Peters, and I want you to look up recipe costing cards. I'm 99% sure I've got a whole thing on recipe costing cards. Number one, you've got to have recipe costing cards, accurate, up-to-date recipe costing cards. Number two, you should find a video on finding ideal food cost or menu profitability monitor, where by taking your menu mix, I know what the item costs me, I know what I sell it for, and how many I sell can give me my ideal food cost. Well, what you're going to do creates a weighted average. So like if I had a menu that had a 99% food cost item, one, a 1% food cost item, one, I sold 100 of these items, 99 at 99% and one at 1%, what would my food cost be? 99%. If I sold 100 of them, 99 at 1% and one at 99%, what's my food cost? 1%. So we've got to estimate or guess your menu mix to say where your food cost would show up. And this allows us to sell some of our items at a 38% food cost. Cash contribution's fantastic. We're not going to sell so many. But I sell the living hell out of these fresh, hand-cut French fries that have a 5% cost of goods sold that are going to drive my food cost down. So it is a big question that is very difficult to answer here in just a quick question, but it starts with accurate, up-to-date recipe costing cards. Hopefully that helps. Otherwise, I will tell you, pricing, you're also going to look at it. I grab three levels. Either I'm going to undercut everybody, be the dive bar, price like everybody else, or my service and food is so good, I'm going to price more than anybody else because the experience is well worth it. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see here. We've got some more here. Cuddy says, "Hi David, are you still going to work till up a program for less than 500,000?" Am I going to? Sorry, you typed fast. The question really is, am I going to have a coaching program for those of you who do $500,000 or less? The answer is yes. In fact, Jenny, if you would do me a favor, if you could find the link to sign up for a live webinar series I'm doing next week, Monday through Friday, where I'm going to give you 5 things that can reduce your food cost, 2 to 3 points in the next 6 months, 3 to 6 months, for free. At the end of that, I'm going to be announcing that there is a new program, coaching program, that'll be led by Steve Eller, who's joining my team, was a member of mine, who's made incredible change, absolutely a numbers person, systems person, can regurgitate everything that I say, and is a great person. He's joining my team full-time. He's sold his restaurants, and he will be leading that program. I will dip into it, but it will be his program, and it's going to be a year long, and it's going to be for very affordable for any restaurant. Excellent question. So join that, and at the end of that live webinar series, I'm going to announce all the stuff. Estrella says, how to deal with chargebacks for fast casual restaurants for to-go orders. I think you're probably talking, well, that happens a lot with the DoorDashes and Uber Eats of the worlds and so on. When it comes to any one of your to-goes, I don't have good advice. I'm going to be dead straight with you. Chargebacks are a part of life. So one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure whenever possible to go, you want them to pay in person if at all possible, because when they take their card and they use the chip, you don't touch it, they're liable. But that's not always going to happen, especially for to-go. We're going to go on apps. We're going to go on your site. We're going to do all these things and so on. So if chargebacks are rampant, I'm really thinking on the top of my head here. I don't have a good answer, and I apologize. I wish I did. It's just a fact of life. They shouldn't be that much. Now, I will tell you, if you're getting a lot of chargebacks and it's because there's thieves, we're going to have to find some security measures we can put in place. Again, card must be present, whatever it may be. But if they're complaining because the food isn't traveling well and doesn't taste good, soggy, whatever it may be, then we have an operational issue, and it's going to be to get rid of those chargebacks. You're going to have to just become a better operator at what you send out. So you may not send everything away to go. You might not. When I was at Famous Sam's, a 30-unit restaurant sports bar chain, as the chief operating officer, as a franchisor, we had a pastrami and cheese sandwich to die for with hand-cut French fries to die for. You put that sucker in a styrofoam box. It was like a rainforest. It was shit product by the time you got it home because the heat would come up and it would rain. So are the to-go containers right? Is the product something you would never, like I would never send eggs to go. I've had members go, I get complaints about my eggs. I'm like, are you kidding me? They have like the life of 2 minutes, let alone 15, 30 minutes from place to place. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, let's see here. Next, running a little long here. Hope you guys are good. I'm going to try and go through all these comments. Yvette, what's going on? Cake burgers. Cake burgers. I'm intrigued. Good morning and thank you for this. You are welcome. Jonathan Cowan says, it's totally worth being a member. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you very, very much. Chris Schoenberger says, on prime cost, is taxes and instance, I'm going to say insurance percentage numbers, the number at the bottom? Yes. So the 12% would have been my estimated taxes, overall taxes on payroll. So if I have 43 left for food, if I have 43% left for food and labor, it always seems impossible when 12% is taxes and insurance. So let's be clear, 12% of payroll, not of sales. Okay, so that might equate to 1% of sales, or not even. Okay, so when you look at that equation, so what Chris is asking is, I'm going to bring it up so that I am clear. Down here, let me bring that down. Down at the bottom, this percentage of 15%, 15.93, is of total payroll. Okay, important for that. At least that's what it's intended to be. All right, where are we? Yes, insurance. Yep, I got it. I knew you were typing fast. Matt says, thank you, big help. I appreciate that very much. Got a couple more things. Okay, Jenny has put in here, if you guys want to join me for my food cost challenge, the 5 days of webinar series, every single day next week, Monday through Friday, join me. Go to dsp.coach/food-cost-challenge. Again, no cost, no nothing. I'm going to give you some tools. I'll give you a key item tracker, waste tracker as a PDF printout, not the spreadsheet. I'm wavering right now. I may give you my restaurant checkbook Guardian spreadsheet, which is a major, major tool for me. I'm still debating it, so don't quote me on it. But we're going to go all the way through to what you even should expect from your managers to maintain these numbers, to achieve these numbers. Without recipe cost cards, without inventory, without heavy lifting, I'm going to show you how you can drop your food costs 2 to 3 points in the next 3 to 6 months. It's not one of these things where I'm advertising, oh my gosh, in 1 month, we're going to change your world. Bullshit. It takes time to learn a system, train your people on the system, get used to the system, use the system, ensure it's being used on a daily basis to achieve results. That's why I'm not giving you, in the next 3 days, you're going to drop your food cost by, no, it's going to take work. I suck. I create work, but that work is so well worth it. So join me at dsp.coach/food-cost-challenge and register for that series today. Chris Schoenberger says, every Grubhub order that is refunded, you can get your money back. Email me and I'll tell you how. mobilegrilling@gmail.com. Thank you, Chris. I do not know how to do that. That's why I love members who share. Thanks, brother. Facebook user says, ask your processes for help and strategies. Ask your processor for credit cards. That's going to your credit card one. Schoenberger says, how do you get the actual percent number then for insurance if it's not a 12% number? Do that manually? Yeah, you're just going to type. You're going to type in the fixed amount that you paid, and I've got a formula that is just use divided by sales. So I built the formula in there. So make sure if you go find that on the member site or reach out to Mary, she'll get it to you, or reach out to me, I'll get it to you. Yvette says, you coming to New York for the food show? I am not coming to New York for the food show. For decades, and I mean decades, I spoke at the New York show. After speaking at the New York show, the day COVID hit and it had a state of emergency, I actually haven't been back. I've been cutting back my shows. You can see me at Pizza Expo, at Bar and Restaurant Expo, and then every now and then a few shows. But I have literally pulled back my travel. I love speaking. I'm getting 57 years old. Don't wish to do all the travel anymore. Vet says, I still use your P&L spreadsheet you gave to the members at the New York State Restaurant Association show. It's amazing. Fantastic. I appreciate that. Was that the webinar or was that at the show? It's a great show. If anybody's wants to travel, it's probably one of the top 3 shows in the nation. Schoenberger says, for the person asking about help with the $500,000 start today by portioning everything, including your fries. Yeah, no shit, right? Schoenberger says, thanks, brother. Appreciate you. I've got one more thing here. It looks like working on some system employee handbook, but I get lost. Do you have any strategies for it? Yeah, I'm going to tell you to go join restaurantowner.com. Jim Lobb, George Erickson, everything you're looking for. Training materials to employee manuals and so on and so forth. In my old company, I actually paid an attorney. We created an employee handbook, and then I'd give it to my members and say, you need to edit it and then get it to your attorney. Because there are local laws and state laws that are different everywhere and what have you. But if you go to restaurantowner.com and it's like $30 a month, you get a magazine and all this, just incredible amounts of materials to go through. They're going to have an employee handbook for you there. Otherwise, I'm going to give you another hint out there that I've got some members doing now. ChatGPT. Yep. Go get ChatGPT and, have it ask it the right questions, and it can probably build your employee handbook for you. But again, get it reviewed by an attorney. So, Yvette said, "Oh, you were on my webinar series with the New York show. That's great. I'm really glad that that's working for you. That's one of the best tools I have. Period." We have gone super long for Shoot the Shit with DSP. We have a shit ton of you on here this week. Let me just look at my calendar. I'm 99% sure we are on next week. We are. I will see you next week for Shoot the Shit. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here today. I hope it was a great topic. I hope it gets you thinking about your numbers. I hope to see you on my food cost challenge. Again, I'll put that up there real fast for people who are looking. If I got to find the darn thing. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Again, as a reminder, you want to join me, go to dsp.coach/food-cost-challenge. Join me for the 5-day food cost challenge, where we'll help you drop your food cost 2 to 3 points in the next 3 to 6 months. Otherwise, I will see you next week for Shoot the Shit. You have a fantastic week. Peace out.